New Jersey's governor-elect, Mikey Sherrill, is giving Democrats a big reason to celebrate tonight. This marks a real comeback for them in the state. 4 years ago, when Kamala Harris ran for president, she fell short of Joe Biden's 2020 vote total by about 400,000. But tonight, Sherrill, the Democratic candidate for governor, won comfortably against her Republican opponent, Jack Ciattarelli. The margin of victory was larger than many expected. We've also just seen a new post from former President Trump on Truth Social. It's the first time he's spoken publicly since Republicans faced losses in these off-cycle elections. He blamed the results on two things: pollsters, who got it wrong, and the government shutdown, suggesting both hurt the GOP's chances. According to Trump's team at the White House, they don't see this as a direct reflection of his leadership. They claim Democrats stretched out the shutdown for political gain. But exit polls tell a different story. In Virginia, just over half of voters said Trump influenced their vote. The same was true in New Jersey. And in California, that number was even higher. Nearly 6 in 10 said Trump was a factor. Even when he's not on the ballot, Trump's presence is still felt. His policies and style continue to shape how people vote, especially in states with many federal workers, like Virginia, where the shutdown had real consequences. Trump remains a powerful force in American politics, always part of the national conversation, even when his name isn't printed on the ballot. Now, it's worth keeping perspective on what these results really mean. Both New Jersey and Virginia traditionally lean blue, so Democratic wins there aren't shocking. Still, Republicans believed they were starting to gain ground. In New Jersey after Kamala Harris's weaker showing in 2024, many saw this election as a test of that progress. But there are always many factors in play. The economy, the shutdown, local issues, they all matter. The real test will come in the next midterms, when more seats and bigger issues will be on the line. That's when we'll get a clearer picture of where both parties truly stand. And while Democrats are celebrating tonight, it's also clear that people are restless. In New York, for example, we're already seeing residents consider moving out of the state because of high taxes and rising costs. These shifts will shape both party strategies going forward. So, tonight may be a bounce-back moment for Democrats. But the real question is how long the momentum lasts and what kind of message voters will send in the next election. Chuck begins by offering a different perspective. He points out that Virginia currently has a Republican governor, so it's not as deeply Democratic as people might assume. He also notes that in New Jersey, Democrats only won the last governor's race by a small margin, just 2 points. In fact, this election marks the first time in 65 years that a Democratic governor in New Jersey has been reelected. According to Chuck, the key issue driving this shift is affordability. He explains that his team spoke with thousands of Latino voters across New Jersey over the past month, and nearly everyone mentioned the same frustrations: rising electric bills, the high cost of groceries, and the general sense that everything is too expensive. Voters are tired of struggling to afford basic necessities, and Democrats managed to connect with that concern this time. However, the host raises an important question. Could Democrats be misreading these results? If affordability is the main issue, it affects whoever is in power, regardless of party. Chuck agrees, warning that Democrats shouldn't assume they've figured everything out just because they won tonight. He reminds his party to celebrate the victory, but to stay realistic. Next year's elections will bring much higher turnout and new challenges. Tonight's results are encouraging, but they're not the final word. Then, attention shifts back to Leslie, who's asked what advice she would give former President Trump after these results and during the ongoing government shutdown. Leslie says the president has remained focused on getting Democrats to cooperate on reopening the government. He's been vocal about wanting federal workers to return to their jobs and get paid again. She adds that Trump's broader goals remain the same: to strengthen the economy, protect small businesses, and tighten border security. She acknowledges that Virginia, with its large number of federal employees, often reacts strongly to government shutdowns. She also praises Governor Glenn Youngkin as a capable leader, but admits that there have still been a few major setbacks under his administration. In the end, both analysts agree that tonight's elections are a reminder that politics is never static. Economic pressure, especially around cost of living, continues to shape how voters think and vote. And while Democrats have momentum right now, the fight for the future is far from over. Chuck adds that the political landscape is constantly shifting. What worked in the last election doesn't necessarily carry over. The economy is unpredictable, and economic issues always play a big role in how people vote. Major thanks are then given to Leslie Sanchez and Chuck Rocha for their insight and analysis, closing out the discussion on a note that reminds viewers, in politics, momentum can change as quickly as the market does.